Benicia, a city of 28,000, drills quarterly on emergency response.
This is Mayor Elizabeth Patterson. I'm here for the medical exercise today. This is a very important component to our Benicia emergency training exercise. It's a program that I'm enormously proud of, that we set the model and the standards for much of the region. This particular exercise is crucial in the event that there are major injuries and minor injuries, and we have an expertise here in the county that no other community has. So it's my pleasure to be here this morning to observe and to watch people become experienced at identifying and doing the treatment for the medical procedures.
I'm Constance Butel with Benicia Emergency Response Team, and today we're holding our third quarter Benicia drill, and it's on emergency medicine and triage. We're taking it to the streets. We're doing it at a BERT member's home, and how it's going to work is that we have stations for BERT members and victims to sign in at, so we have everyone accounted for, and the BERT members go through a series of refresher stations. In this case, they'll be looking at how to do triage, how to do the RPM, how to do the tagging of people, of victims. They'll go then to a station covering shock, splinting, and bandaging. They'll have a refresher in their BERT forms and radio protocols. They're put into teams of 5, and they'll be they sign in at this station here, and then they'll also deploy from this station. So once they've had all their check sheets initialed after going through the refresher, then they'll be deployed to the backyard. And in the backyard, we'll have all the victims assembled. I happen to be a victim with a terrible head wound. We will be laying in the backyard, moaning and groaning, and we'll have the teams come through and do the triage and emergency medicine. And then we'll do a debriefing after.
This table is for the signing in of BERT members, victims, and anyone interested in joining BERT. And we will give them their assignments and teams, and they will go on to get their refresher course.
This is Station 4. Station 4 is splinting. There are 2 victims here for Station 4. The first victim will have an injury to the leg, and the BERT members will be taught splinting to splint the extremity above and the joint above and the joint below, which will be the knee joint and the ankle joint in case of a fracture of the leg. They will be taught to use simple splints made of cardboard boxes, pieces of clothing to secure the splints, and in this way minimize bleeding from a fractured bone until rescuers are available to mobilize these victims to the hospital. The second victim will have a fracture of an ankle. The rescuers will be taught to identify the signs by swelling, pain, and inability to move the joint. Once again, they will use simple household measures like pieces of cardboard and pieces of rags or clothing to secure these splints to the rescuers. This is triage station. The BERT members will be taught to identify victims' injuries based on urgency. They will be taught to triage based on respirations, perfusion, and mental status. They will identify that the victim is breathing too fast or not breathing at all. They will identify them as immediate victims for transport by tagging them as red, so that when the rescuers arrive and they are ready to be mobilized, they would be able to be identified to be mobilized immediately. The second is based upon perfusion or circulation. Once again, they will be identified as dead if they have no pulse. They will be tagged appropriately with black so that the rescuers would know not to spend any time transporting these victims, and resources will be utilized more efficiently, following the principle of greatest good for the greatest number. In this way, they will now tag mental status, or M, based on the triage acronym of RPM. If they cannot follow simple commands, they will be tagged as immediate for transport. If they can follow simple commands, they will be tagged as delayed. Simple tagging with colors will identify victims. Red will be tagged for immediate transport. Yellow will be tagged for delayed transport. Green will be the walking wounded. These are the victims whose injuries are minor, and these victims can actually be used as rescuers. These will be the walking wounded or victims with minor injuries. Victims who have no respirations and no pulse will be identified as deceased by the lay rescuers or by the BERT members, and these victims will not be transported by rescuers when they do arrive. This will allow again for utilization of resources more efficiently, following the principle of greatest good for greatest number.
And the table that I'm taking care of today has to do with communications. We'll be using our walkie-talkies in the teams and the call back here to the command center to let us know how many people have been injured and if we need extra help. Then when that is over, at the end of the exercise, I will be calling the fire department on our ham radio, which is what we need a license for, and I'll be giving instructions then on what we need to have to help us out here.
So now you know whether they have respiration. If they do not have respiration, what are you going to do? Okay, how do you clear the airway? To a head tilt and chin lift. What is the most common cause of airway obstruction? The tongue. The tongue in the unconscious patient holds back and occludes the airway. Tilt the head and lift the chin and clear the tongue, and they might start breathing again. So they are not breathing now. Do a head tilt, chin lift. Now they start breathing. Okay, so you have restored respiration. If they still do not breathe, what are you going to do next? Tag them with a black tag. They're dead.
Okay, we're with the BERT team here in Benicia, and we're here to help you as we can. If you can hear my voice and you can stand up, please walk over towards me right now. Can you walk over towards me right now? Okay, if you're hurting, don't try and do it if you can't hear. Okay, stay. Okay. What happened to your leg? If anybody can get up and come over here, please come over here. If anybody can walk. What happened to you? Your femur is sticking. Well, okay, so obviously you've got some training of what's going on. About where is it sticking out? Okay, well that's not your femur, but I'll take your word for it that it's sticking out. Okay, why don't you lie back? Could I have another team member? Lay back there. Lay back there.
Are there any more members who can be deployed?
Can you stick your tongue out?
I can do it. Another member.
Get you some help. I can take tags.
Okay, go ahead and
they moved the dead person over there already in the morning.
Stick your tongue out. You need a red tag for this young man? Red tag.
go find another victim who's not been tagged.
Okay, we'll get you some help real quick.
Good. Now you need to go for debriefing. Take your team and go up for debriefing to Marion.
Form B, do you have a Form B with you?
June has it.